Hey, what's up, you guys? Okay, now I want to speak a little bit about targeted individuals and narcissism. Now, I was raised by a narcissistic mother, and also my siblings were narcissistic as well. Now, I didn't learn about narcissism until 2015, and once I learned about the characteristics of a narcissist, and the traits, then all the pieces began to fall into place as far as my upbringing. And not only that, people that I socialized with throughout my life, and relationships that I had with women. And I began to really understand that the majority of the people, and I quote, majority of the people that I've ever held a relationship with were narcissistic. And me being a so-called targeted individual, I know that's not a coincidence, because you have people placed into your life for a specific reason and an agenda. And that agenda is to subvert any attempts that you have to further evolve as a spiritual individual and to raise your consciousness and your vibration. So, me being raised by a narcissistic mother, as I look in hindsight, only makes sense when I look from the standpoint of this spiritual warfare. Now, if any of you guys have were raised by a narcissistic mother, or had narcissistic friends, or been in relationships with these individuals, then you all know how demonic they are. They're inhuman, and they have no natural emotions. So, and all they want to do, their main objective is to destroy you, from the inside out. So me being raised by a narcissistic mother, she told me at one point, I asked her, because the way she treated me throughout my whole life, I always loved my mother, regardless of the mental, physical, and emotional abuse she put me through. I always still loved her dearly. And as I got older, once I became an adult, I pulled my mother to the side one day, and I asked her, was she trying to make me go crazy, growing up? And she actually laughed and said, yeah, sarcastically. But she never said, I'm just joking or nothing. Like, she looked me right in the eyes. So, like I said, these individuals, these narcissists, they don't have natural emotions. And not only that, they're demonic. Now, you people, some people may say, well, how can you say your mother's demonic? That's crazy. But me saying that is no crazier than the way that she treated me as a child, and throughout my whole life, even as an adult. So, but as far as that, even your parents being demonic, that's on a whole nother metaphysical, concept of how we were even born into these demonic families. These families that are have backgrounds with Freemasonry, unbeknownst to us. How these families are involved in witchcraft, the dark witchcraft, and rituals. And we know nothing about it, So the reason why I'm making this video is because I want any of you TIs out there that are viewing this to look in hindsight, to just look back in your past and reflect and try to see if the people in your lives, even at before your gang stalking intensified, because I believe it's been going on your whole life or whatnot, but let's just say you weren't gang stalked your whole life and it just happened overnight. So just look in your past and see if there was anybody in your life or the people around you that were ever trying to manipulate you. You know, were they ever like energy vampires, you know, always throwing the problems off on you, or always it's pretty deep, you know. I'm trying to articulate this the best way I can. If there was any, like your parents, you know, were they narcissistic? Were your friends sociopaths? You know, because when we hear about, you know, like for instance psychopaths, when we hear about psychopaths, we always, you know, we've been programmed through the media and through, you know, television and through Hollywood to believe that a psychopath is just some serial killer running around manic killing people, you know. And but that's not necessarily the case, you know. There's another type of a psychopath, and that's the covert psychopath. The overt psychopath is a serial killer, you know, that's out of control. But the controlled psychopath is the covert psychopath, the covert narcissist, the one that's more subtle in their manipulation. They're more subtle in the way that they're trying to destroy you. So you have to be very leery in this day and age, you know, with the people that we socialize with and communicate with. And we have to really use our intuition when it comes to communicating with people, you know, and dealing with people in our everyday lives, because especially as a targeted individual, because I don't know if all of you are isolated like myself. Like I won't say I'm isolated because I choose, you know, to isolate myself on my spiritual journey, you know, but I'm saying, like, I know how I was isolated at a point, you know, from the world, from everybody turning their back on me, you know. So it's actually helped me to be able to use my intuition and have a feel for the people around me, and to really use my intuition and pick up on any red flags that they may display, you know, through their subject matters, you know, through their demeanors, their behavior. So just always be conscious of your surroundings, of the people that you're dealing with, because we're TIs, targeted individuals. This is a spiritual battle for us, and the fight is on every day, you know. And it's nothing to fear, though. You know, we're powerful, and that's the only reason that that's the only reason they're even focusing on us, is because we're powerful. They know how powerful we are. Like, they're afraid, but we have to know that, you know. So there's nothing to fear, but at the same time, you have to know how to protect yourself. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the with narcissists and empaths, how they're said to attract each other. Now, I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe that, you know, empaths are attracted to narcissists. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I believe that empaths may be naive to narcissism, like I was, but now that I'm aware of them, then I'm not attracted to them. Actually, I despise them. But they say that, you know, basically it's not that empaths are attracted to narcissists, it's that narcissists prey on empaths. So if any of you guys feel like, you know, you may be an empath, then I suggest that you do your research, you know, about empaths, you know, and use your discretion. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of information out there. You know, just use your discernment, not your discretion, but your discernment. You know, you got to filter out, you know, and the disinformation. You know, and but there's a lot of good information out there. You know, and just become aware of who you are. You have to know who you are, because your enemy knows you. You have to know your enemy, but you have to know yourself as well. You have to know yourself fully. You know, so if you feel like you're an empath, go do your research. You know, and like I said, there's a lot of good information about that. You know, empaths, we're psychic. You know, we're intuitive. We have ESP. You know, we have healing abilities. You know, we're very powerful. We're beautiful people. You know, we're here for a reason. And that's just another aspect of why we're being targeted. So, like I said, we have to know our enemy, you know, and me being an empath, I don't really like to delve into the darkness. Like I did that, you know what I'm saying? Like I did my research into, you know, the Illuminati, you know, into the Freemasons and all that. I've done so much research, you know what I'm saying? And information is energy as well. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is energy, you know, at its core. So even looking up certain information, that dark negative information took a toll on me, on my spirit, but I still had to know it, you know, in order to truly identify my enemies out here. Because our enemy is not just, you know, the so-called powers that be, you know, but they're in the general population too as well. You know, they talk about reptilian hybrids, you know, the celebrities in Hollywood, you know, the elite, you know, the all that, you know, the Queen of Britain, all that. I mean England, but they never talk about how, you know, they're in the general population too. And I've seen that with my own two eyes on several occasions, you know. So we just have to we have to know ourselves. We have to know our enemy too, you know. And yeah, just do your research, you know. And it's a very, I look at it like this. Life is based on the way that you perceive it. Your reality is based on the way that you perceive it. And I look at my spiritual journey as not as, you know, an obstacle, but more of an adventure to me, you know. So that's how I choose to look at it, you know. That way I stay upbeat, you know, I stay excited, and I keep going, you know, and I keep my vibration high. So just try to change your perspective, you know. See it for what it is. You wouldn't be targeted, you know, if you weren't special. And I also want to add that we're divinely protected too. You know, I see that on a daily basis. I'm protected. I even just uploaded a video with a hawk, you know, one of my spirit animal guides that flew right past me. I can't even remember the name of the video I uploaded, but I think it's targeted individuals. Watch this. Yeah, but we're protected, you know, and that's why I'm telling you guys to really try to, you know, just call out, you know, you may call them angels, you know, I call them my spiritual family, you know, and the creator, you know, and the warriors of the universe, you know. That's how I identify them, you know. But however you identify, you know, the spiritual beings that are helping you and guiding you, you know, always call out to them, you know, for help and for guidance, and they will be there like that. As soon as you call out, they're there, and they'll protect you through anything. All right, so love you guys. Peace.